Hey, welcome back guys, and today we have another Shoujupu video featuring the two current banners that are running, featuring Hwayoung as well as her artifact Indestructible Gators, and we also have Senya with her artifact Spear of a New Dawn. We're going to be talking about these units, if you guys should be pulling for them, and also if their artifacts are worth purchasing with your precious Powder of Knowledge. Now talking about Hwayoung, first let's actually look at her skills very quickly so you can understand what she does. So her S3 is a single target attack, which will actually first cleanse her of all debuffs and also give her immunity for 2 turns. And when the target's max health is greater than Hwayoung's, their defense will actually get penetrated that scales with that difference. So basically, if the target has more health than Hwayoung does, they will get their defense penetrated at a higher amount than a unit that has similar health to Hwayoung. So this skill actually is pretty good against very tanky units. If there's like a 10k difference, you'll penetrate pretty much all of their defense, and this is very good for one-shotting very tanky units. In Guild Wars, it can be very good against like Senyas and APOC Ravis on offense, but compared to the past before the nerfs, it's not nearly as strong as before. Prior to the nerfs, you could actually, one-shot squish units, but this will actually not one-shot squish units anymore. It will only one-shot units that, like I said, have about a 10k difference, and you can actually soul burn this for an extra turn. Next, we have her S2, Prairie Hawk. This is going to actually give her a passive attack bonus, but will also make it so that she cannot trigger critical hits. There's also a secondary effect though. You'll see that she'll suffer less damage from critical hits, making her a lot more tankier. And also at the start of the battle and at the end of every turn she takes, she will grant a barrier to herself, and this will scale with her own attack. And this barrier can be very thick because her attack can be very high. You'll see Hwayoung's at like 5k plus, like 6k even attack nowadays, and her barrier can still be very strong even though it's not as strong as before the nerfs. Now we have her S1 guys, single target attack. When she is buffed, a successful attack will also deal additional damage proportional to the caster's attack. This also got nerfed. Basically all of her skills got nerfed guys because she was super broken. A lot of people were crying for nerfs, but even after that you can still use her in offense teams for units like Senya and APOC Ravi, like I said, and even like earth units that are very tanky or just tanky units in general. But outside of that, like Guild Wars offense is the only area you're going to actually use her. So for that reason, I don't really think she's worth pulling for anymore because there's a lot of units that are good in Guild Wars offense, and there's a lot of units that can deal with tanks very easily as well. You can even just use like Spectre Tenebria against very tanky teams with Soul Weavers, and 90% of the time they can do what Hwayoung does. Like the only thing she's very good at is kind of stopping those Senya teams, but there's already a great deal of Senya counters, so you don't really have to worry about that too much. So I think this is an easy skip. In PvE, she's only really used in like Golem and stuff like that, but there's also better options for PvE as well. Now for Hwayoung's artifact guys, Indestructible Gators, it is going to be obviously warrior exclusive because Hwayoung is a warrior. It will give you a passive 10% attack increase, and if you make a non-critical hit with a single attack, you have a chance to burn for 1 turn, and this can only activate once per turn. So big problems with this artifact. First, 10% attack is pretty low. Like this is nothing compared to like 20% damage you can get from like Symbol of Unity and stuff like that. And also you're going to see that when you actually don't have this maxed out, you have RNG to actually land the burn, so it's pretty weird, and it only activates on single attacks, which is also very weird as well. Honestly, this artifact is pretty trash. Will not even bother buying this from the Powder of Knowledge shop because this really needs to be buffed. I think both Hwayoung and her artifact are in a weird spot. Even when Hwayoung was super broken, you didn't really even use Indestructible Gators. You actually used the one that procced extra damage after you land a single target attack. I forget what it's called. You bury his tooth. So yeah, this artifact needs to be buffed or reworked. It's not really used on anyone. Now, talking about Senya guys, so right off the bat, Senya is extremely powerful for PvP, but not really used in PvE. You can use her on defense teams even for Guild Wars and Arena, and even in offense teams she's good. And in World Arena, she is a pretty common pick, but not on the tiers of like Spectre Tenebria and anything else that's super broken. But you can still pick her pretty safely into a lot of comps. Just be careful picking her too early because she can get countered, like I said earlier. So for S3 guys, it is an AoE attack that will have a chance to decrease hit chance, which is actually going to be a 100% chance if you actually max this out for 2 turns, which is very powerful. And also you have a chance to provoke for 1 turn, which is going to be at 85%. And you'll also adopt a counter attacking stance. So basically what this does is it will provoke everyone and it'll make it so that they have to attack Senya, and she'll counter attack after. So for S1 guys, you're going to see why this is very important with their S3. It synergizes very well. You're going to see that this is a 65% chance to provoke for 1 turn. It's a single target attack. And also when it is not the caster's turn, the effect chance increases by 25%. When you actually have this at +3, this will be 100%. So you can kind of see what this will actually do. Basically, Senya S3s, she provokes everyone, she has that counter-attacking stance, and then whenever they attack her, she will counter-attack and provoke again with that counter-attack at 100% chance, making it so it's like a never-ending loop, which makes her very, very annoying, very, very strong. You're also going to see because of her S2, it will make her very, very tanky. So for Senya's S2 guys, you're going to see it is going to give her passive attack increase, but also likewise with Hwayoung, she cannot trigger critical hits. And it will also give her critical hit resistance going up to 50%, making her super, super tanky and annoying. Also, you're going to see if she's attacked and suffers a non-critical hit, she will deal damage to the attacker proportional to Senya's attack, and also activate Grace of the Battlefield on a 2-turn cooldown, which is going to give all of your allies a barrier and also increase speed of Senya. And this barrier is pretty thick because it'll scale with her own attack. Now her S2 makes her super annoying because, you're not going to be critting a lot of the time, and also you're going to see her commonly paired on defense teams with a unit known as Shu, because Shu has an S3 that will give critical hit resistance buff, and this stacks with Senya's S2 and makes it so that you cannot crit Senya at all. So every time you actually hit Senya, you will be doing damage to yourself and activating Grace of the Battlefield. Very good duo in that regard. You're going to commonly see them paired up with like a Conqueror Elias or a Lua on Guild Wars defense, and they can be super, super annoying. Senya, very powerful PvP unit. Like I said, on Guild Wars defense, she's super strong, especially when paired with Shu, Lua, and or Conqueror Elias. And for that reason, I think she is a very good pickup if you're into PvP, because she is super, super annoying and can be a very clutch pick and kind of a must ban in some situations in RTA if they don't have a way to actually strip your counterattacks or actually cleanse your provokes, because she can actually keep that never-ending cycle going and make it super hard for your enemy side to actually break out of the constant CC lock. That being said, her artifact guy, Spear of a New Dawn, it's going to be after using a basic skill, you have a chance to inflict additional damage to the target that will scale with your caster's attack. This is going to be obviously very good on Senya because of the fact that she has so much attack built in. You're going to see Senya's with like 5k, 6k attack, and also be bulky. And because of this artifact scaling with attack, you're going to see that this kind of works like Uberius Tooth did on Hwayoung and other units that used it. And because of that, this artifact is very, very good on her. If you do decide to use your Senya or pull for her, I definitely recommend buying this artifact because it is super, super strong and her best artifact by far. That's pretty much it for this should you pull video though, guys. Just to summarize, Hwayoung and her artifact, easy skips. Senya, guys, pretty decent pull for PvP if you guys are looking for a decent Guild Wars defense or just an RTA unit in general. She's a very good bruiser that is very good at CCing units down, and she's very good in defense, like I said, when paired with Shu and Lua or Conqueror Elias. Her artifact, like I said, you definitely want to pick this up if you pull for Senya because it synergizes with her so well. Otherwise, you don't really need this artifact if you don't plan to pull for Senya. That being said, that's pretty much it for this should you pull video though, guys. Hope you guys found this video helpful, and I'll see you guys next time.
For this moment.